Greetings folks, and I hope Marvel Jesus is smiling on you wherever you are in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And I never thought I'd say this again, but Mr. Go Figure is actually quite excited about a Marvel figure. Yes folks, it's the highly anticipated Hot Toys take on Hugh Jackman as Wolverine from last year's Shawn Levy directed Dead Pool and Wolverine. Usual format folks, box, accessories, figure, then showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I'd like to send a Galactus-sized shout out to everyone who supported the channel. And please drop a like and hype on this video as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're sure not to miss any of the new content we've got coming up. So, did Dead Pool and Wolverine save an ailing Marvel? And is Hot Toys Wolverine as good as they say it is? Let's dive in and find out. Let's have a quick look at the box first. We will stop it from spinning. It's a slipcover design. On the front you have a shot of Hugh Jackman himself as Wolverine. I don't think this is a shot of the figure. This looks more like a promotional shot or maybe an artist's rendition, but very nice it is too. You've got the yellow and blue suit going on there. You've got these slash marks going across the top right here. There are bullet casings and sparks going off. It says Dead Pool and Wolverine top left hand corner, Hot Toys movie masterpiece bottom left there. Wolverine is the deluxe version, this one. Around the side there's a continuation of those slash marks and more sparks and bullet casings. I'm liking the blue and yellow theme going on here. It says Wolverine deluxe version on the right hand side. On the top just says Wolverine deluxe version. On the bottom Dead Pool and Wolverine. And around the back you've got that Dead Pool symbol and all the credits and warnings and everybody involved in the production of the figure. Warnings at the bottom there: don't piss this figure off, or Disney might make him do it until he's 90. I like the slash marks on the side and on the front here. As I said, slipcover design, brand new figure this one. The eagle-eyed amongst you will probably notice that the seals are still intact on this guy. Removing that slipcover, you are greeted with the figure itself behind the windowed section on the front there. You've got that broken heart symbol of Wolverine and Dead Pool at the bottom there. It says best friends. Around the side you've got a continuation of sort of that Dead Pool theme there with the unicorn and the rainbows and doing that child's handwriting, and you've got slash marks as well. And around the back you're greeted with another Dead Pool symbol, but this time with the adamantine claws coming straight through the center of it, and Wolverine at the bottom there. So that's the box. Nice presentation. I think it's a very nice box indeed, looking good. So let's do as we always do. Let's crack the seals open on this box. Let's dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that come with your Wolverine figure. So what do you get with your Wolverine figure? Well, not a huge amount considering it's a deluxe release, but we'll have a quick look at all the bits and pieces. Mundane stuff first, let's get that out of the way. You get a set of instructions on how to swap out all the bits and pieces. I recommend you take a look at these before you dive in with the figure. You also get a set of blue wrist pegs, nice to see, some spare blue wrist pegs. What else? Let's take a look at this swap out chest section now. This is the battle damage version, and it's made of a sort of I wouldn't say it's a soft plastic, but it's a pliable plastic. It's got some give in it, and obviously that'll be useful for swapping it over the shoulders. On the inside there you've got a pair of pegs on the back and a pair of pegs on the front, so it can attach to the figure. And the paint applications are very, very nice, as is the sculpt. You can clearly see that weave in there in the sculpting process to give it that material look. You've got the blue flashes on the shoulders there, and you've got battle damage going on and weathering, and there are bullet holes and scratches and the weathering at the top there with some brown paint applications, and it looks very, very effective indeed. Around the back it's the same story, more damage going on, and you've even got these silver dots picked out, which is screen accurate as well. And you've got scratches and more bullet holes and more of that brown paint application to give it that weathered look. So overall, yeah, very convincing and very well sculpted and painted. What else do you get? Let's take a look at the adamantine clawed hands. Now, these will swap out onto any of the arms. You get a pair of seamless arms on the figure. We'll take a look at that when we bring them out. We've got the suited arms here, but yeah, these claws will actually swap out. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but let's have a look at the sculpt first. And straight away, yeah, very nice paint and sculpting on these hands. That sculpt there to give it that material-like texture is very well done. There's some creasing on the knuckles there. The paint applications are pretty good. That yellow is quite well done, as is the blue and the black. And overall, yeah, they're very, very convincing. Now, these claws do come off, but before we take them off, a word of caution. These are plastic. They're nicely painted. That silver paint application is very good, but they are super delicate. Puts me in mind of the predator, the prey figure. These feel very, very delicate indeed. And when you're taking them out, which is simply a case of slipping your fingernail under that gap there, and these will come away. They're pegged into the hands, he said confidently, but be very, very careful when you're taking them out. As I say, they are exceptionally delicate and we wouldn't want any breakages. So yeah, they will swap out into these arms or the seamless arms that are already on the figure. So yeah, that's the clawed hands. Very nice too. Put those to one side. Might as well take a look at the suited arms while we're here as well. So you get these two swap out arms. Ball joint at the top there where they attach to the body, and straight away, yeah, I think Hot Toys have captured the look of the suit very, very well. The colours look screen accurate. Once again, that sculpted the sculpted suit section has caught that material look very well. The weathering is really nice with those brown paint applications. Lighter under this shoulder pad section where it wouldn't pick up as much weathering, which makes it look that much more realistic. This shoulder pad is all one piece of plastic and attached by magnets, and so you can move it around on the shoulder depending on the pose that you've gone for. The paint applications and sculpt on this shoulder pad, once again, very nice indeed. You're looking at scratches, you've got dinks, pieces missing there. There's some weathering and brown paint applications on the yellow sections and the blue sections. Overall, very, very nicely done. Moving down to the gauntlet. Now this gauntlet does have some movement in it, a very, very small amount, but it's sculpted plastic over the suit itself. And once again, we are looking at some excellent weathering and battle damage going on here. Scratches, dinks, and all picked out with that silver dry brushing to give it that look and authentic feel. Down to the hands. These hands are a softer medium and very, very nicely done. Once again, that palm is well sculpted to give it that material look and painted black. The yellows and the blues are screen accurate, and there's some weathering going on there as well if the light's catching this. So yeah, very nicely done too. Overall, my only concern with these arms is the material itself. Now, collectors of Hot Toys figures will recognise this material. It's been used in Spider-Man figures and Superman figures and so on. I think they've got a smooth, yeah, it's a smooth joint in here. It's not a ratcheted joint. It's super smooth, this one, and it'll go up to about 45 degrees, as you can see there. Now, my only concern here is that over time, this material might deteriorate. It has on other figures in the past, and this is a figure that sort of begs to be dynamically posed. So how this material holds up if you leave it in a dynamic pose is anybody's guess. I suppose time will tell, but yeah, it creases quite nicely when you bend the arm as well. A lot of the time we see unsightly creasing that doesn't look accurate and throws the figure off, but yeah, these arms don't seem to suffer from that. So yeah, both those swap out arms look very good indeed. What else do you get? Let's take a look at the base. Now, standard Hot Toys hexagonal base here, and I haven't even taken the plastic off this here. Let's just remove this plastic on camera. Now, I will say from the get-go here, with this being a deluxe release, I was a little bit disappointed with this. The base itself is very, very nice, and it's in keeping with Hot Toys designs. It's all plastic, obviously. On the bottom there, you've got some felt padded feet to give it stability in the display, which is always nice to see. And on the front there, you've got printed Wolverine, and on the top, you've got this sort of more acrylic-like section that sits on top of the base itself. It's super high gloss, and you've got that Dead Pool symbol in the center there with the adamantine claws slashing through it. It says Dead Pool and Wolverine at the bottom there, and there's a nice sort of play of light there in those contrasting smooth and slightly rougher sections around the edges, which have got bullet holes and all kinds of weathering going on. And yeah, I think as a base, it's really nice to see. It's well done, and I like it. But I would have I would have liked to have seen some kind of diorama base with this. It's a deluxe version. This figure, it begs to go into a dynamic pose, so just sat on this stand with the crotch grabber, it might not look quite as impressive. Maybe something in the vein of Days of Future Past, the most recent release of Wolverine from Hot Toys. It would have been nice to see something along those lines. I was going to do a comparison of the two Wolverines in this video, but we're going to save that for a separate video because I think it deserves it. So yeah, nice base, but come on Hot Toys, we could have used a diorama there. Comes with a standard issue crotch grabber, which sits at the back, as they do with all these Hot Toys figures, and that's your stand. So what else do you get? Let's take a look at the Deluxe Edition bonus part, which is this head sculpt. Now, straight away, I am very, very impressed with this head sculpt, I've got to say. The mass head sculpt is on the figure, we'll take a look at that when we bring it out, but first impressions of this head sculpt, I've got to say, are phenomenal. It looks like the hype was right, especially after the Days of Future Past head sculpt, which really did not live up to expectations, unfortunately. The changes from the prototype to the production model were a little bit too drastic for a lot of people, me included, but as I say, we're saving that for another video. This head sculpt, however, is most certainly there, 100%. Well, is it 100%? Well, let's find out straight away. It's swapping out at the neck here, so you've got a neck adapter going on, and the first thing that strikes me is the skin texturing on this neck area and the paint applications. Now, Hugh Jackman is no spring chicken. He's not an old man by any stretch of the imagination, but he's getting there. No insult intended. And that is really, really captured very, very well here with the tones and the textures and the paint applications on the neck there. Moving up to the head sculpt itself now. I'm going to get this as close into camera as I can. Hopefully it's going to focus this camera, and you can see for yourself there. That is possibly, I'm going to chance my arm here, that is possibly the best Hugh Jackman head sculpt I have seen in 1/6 scale ever. I'm going to let that hang in the air for a second. The skin tones, the texturing, the sculpt there is unmistakably Hugh Jackman. Even down to sort of almost visible blue veins in the forehead there, that furrowing at the eyebrow section there. The beard, really, really well done. The individual strands are picked out, the paint applications there, the fade up into the moustache area, that unique shaped nose that Hugh Jackman has, they've captured really well. And the eyes. I've heard a lot of people say these eyes are too wide for them. I can sort of see that. Maybe could have done with being narrowed a little bit, but overall I think they've caught him exceptionally well here. The hairstyle. I did see some early photos of the hair, and I don't know whether it was the lighting, but it looked a little bit off to me. But here it looks, in hand, it looks absolutely excellent. Individual strands picked out. You've got that unique style with the hair lifting up around the temple area, and a little bit of a quiff going on at the front. The colour is right, and overall, yeah, I'm very impressed with this. And of course, it comes replete with the purse system. Let's just get this head off this adapter. There we go. And inside, you'll see if the light is catching that. You've got the two little doohickeys on the inside to control the eyes. Let's try moving them. Oh yeah, these are smooth. A lot of the time, straight out of the box, you find that the Hot Toys purse system can be a little bit on the stiff side. Let's get these eyes off to one side and see what that does for this head sculpt. Yeah, a little bit wonky there, but yeah, perhaps something for me to futz off camera. He's looking a bit goofy there, but yeah, at least they move smoothly. So yeah, let's get them back facing straight forward, or as much as we can. I've got sausage fingers, which isn't doing this head sculpt any favours at all, but yeah, excellent, I have to say. Very, very good indeed. So that is your deluxe version swap out head sculpt, and you also get two interchangeable mouth plates for the masked version of this figure. And once again, these have got the same level of sculpted detailing on them, recognizing a character from just the lower part of his face, to me, is always a sign that the manufacturer has caught this very, very well indeed, and unmistakably Hugh Jackman here. The lower part of the face, very well done. Same level of skin tones and textures there. The bottom part of that mask with the weathering on it is very good. Teeth, beautifully done. They've got that slightly shiny pearlescent look to them. You can see the tongue in the inside of the mouth there, which is got that gloss paint application to give it that wet look. And overall, yeah, very good indeed. You've got a slightly mouth open swap out faceplate and a gritted teeth version. I think, well, I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think they both look good. It'll be interesting to see how they both work with the figure itself. So yeah, that's the swap out mouth plate. So without further ado, let's bring out the man himself. Let's bring out the Wolverine. Let's get him on that stand, get him onto the turntable and have a close-up look at him. Okay folks, so here's Wolverine straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and turntable, and first impressions. First impressions are very good indeed. The proportions look absolutely on point, as does that suit. The screen accuracy looks there in spades. Overall, in first impression is very, very positive indeed, but let's have a close-up look at this guy. Let's stop him from spinning and get him off that turntable and get him into shot. So, where to begin with this guy? First, straight away, weight. This figure has some heft to it. He's not a light chap. I mean, he's not ridiculously heavy. He's not sort of up there with an Iron Man or anything like that, but you feel like you've got something substantial in your hands. Let's start at the bottom and work our way. Let's start with these boots. Straight away, sculpted plastic boots. It's a soft plastic. No split cut boot design. That struck me straight away. That seems like a missed trick to me. This figure is one for dynamic poses, and not having a split cut boot design is going to limit that a little bit. The sculpt and paint applications though on these soft plastic boots is quite nice. You've got that sort of material section that runs up the front there, and the sculpting there has the same sort of weave that the rest of the suit has. You've got the sculpted in buckles, they're not independent. You've got tread on the bottom of the boots themselves, and that's weathered as well, which is nice to see. Let's check out the movement here now. Yeah, this foot is it's a very, very stiff joint there. It feels like it might be a ball joint. We've got some lateral movement going on there. We've got some forward and backward movement, not a huge amount. So yeah, that might limit posing a little bit. And I'm always concerned when I see this full plastic sculpted boot over the top of a joint like this, and that over time that seam there where the ankle is might get damaged. But once again, we'll have to wait and see how this thing stands the test of time. There's weathering on these boots around the back. You've got that contrasting material going on just there, and it's weathered down the back there with sort of black and brown paint applications. And overall, yeah, very nice. But as I say, I would have liked to have seen a split cut boot design there. Moving up to this suit, and once again, this suit, as I mentioned before, is that material, that sort of it's sort of a vinyl stroke plastic material that we sort of come to know and love, or hate, as far as Hot Toys figures go. How this suit stands the test of time, we will wait and see. But as with that chest plate, you've got some fantastic detailing going on, sculpted in detailing, to give it that material look. There's weathering going on with brown paint applications and multitude of shades to pick out the details. It's in the crevices of these sculpted in knee pads here, which there is some movement in there. They're not actually sculpted into the suit itself. There is movement here. I'm not quite sure how those are attached. I'm not going to pull them off, but as you can see there is a gap there, so there is some movement. So hopefully when those legs flex, you're not going to see these things fall off. And talking of articulation in these legs, let's have a look and see how far we can go. Once again, you're going to get about 45 degrees out of that. They've left that movement obviously in that knee pad section to avoid it coming loose, but yeah, nice smooth ratchet joint at the knee there. Moving up, is that creasing already? I don't know. It looks like you're already starting to see some creasing going on at the back of this suit, at the back of the knee there, and that's the first time that leg's been flexed, so I'm assuming it's going to do the same thing on this other leg as well. Yeah, I think you're going to get some ugly creases if you go for a lot of dynamic poses with this figure over a period of time. But those joints are secure and nicely done. Moving up to the thighs, suitably chunky, doesn't feel padded underneath this suit. Those blue flashes on the sides there are nicely done with that contrasting pattern in there, and around the back. we've got that pattern continued. I have seen some other reviewers having issues with the symmetry on the back here of this suit. Not really getting that with this with the one I've got in hand here, but maybe something to keep an eye out for. But it looks symmetrical to me. The belt section is, I don't know whether that's separate or that feels separate to me, but it has been attached, but it's the same material as the rest of the suit. You've got the X in the center there that's been weathered quite subtly, which is nice to see. And then moving up, let's just check these hip joints while we're here. I'm not awfully convinced with this suit, as you can probably tell, but there's a little bit of forward and backward movement going on in these legs, not a huge amount. How far back that will go, no. But not that much forward either. And now, I think this is limited by this material in the suit itself, but yeah, I suspect creases will form there over time if left in a dynamic pose. Let's check the leg spread. Not a huge amount of leg spread here. That is down to the nature of the suit there. One good thing I'm seeing here is the stitch work, where they've actually put this suit together, is well done. A pet peeve of mine with Hot Toys in recent years, when they're using this material in suits, is that you will find one side as being really clumsily stitched, and that doesn't seem to be the case here. So that's a good sign. Let's move up to this chest section. Let's check the articulation in the chest. We've got a bit of twist going on there, but once again limited by that suit. Backwards and forwards, yeah, you've got an ab crunch going on there, and it's a sturdy click, as you can probably hear, as I bring him forward. That weathering is continued in that section, that abdomen section there. Those silver highlights picked out with those silver dots. And you've got that sort of rib section around the sides there. Around the back, you've got the removable plastic section that we looked at. Now, I haven't checked the instructions yet, but I'm assuming it's the case. Just remove the shoulder pads, remove the head sculpt and the neck adapter, then pop this off. And well, we'll try it while we're here. There are 2 pegs in the back there, and yeah, you can see them there. I'm not going to try and pull that off at this point. We'll do that off camera. But yeah, this the unbattle damaged version of the chest plate looks just as good. Once again, I think the thing that really kicks this off for me is that very subtle brown weathering that you've got going on there, and in the back of the neck area as well. Onto these seamless arms. We'll start with these shoulder pads. Now, I did notice straight out of the box, and this is probably just something that comes in, that happened in the factory. You can take these shoulder pads off, and these are identical to the ones on the costumed version arms, shall we say. First thing I did notice was this area around the shoulder section here. Now, these sort of sleeveless arms, these seamless arms rather, are on butterfly joints, and there's as you can see there, full range of motion. But what tends to happen when you've got this kind of sort of weathering, this ripped effect around the shoulder is it tends to get tucked in. If you're catching that into where the joint goes, and can look a bit ugly, so I might take a bit of futzing. But let's have a look at these seamless arms. I've got to say straight away, I am very impressed. Particularly the sculpt. I think the sculpt is phenomenal, with the unique vein structure going on in both arms there. But it's really what I first strikes me is the skin texturing and paint applications on these arms. If the light's catching this, it's the same as that swap out head sculpt. Really well done, aged just right. So yeah, I think they've captured Hugh Jackman's age here as far as skin texture and tone goes really well. And as you can see, the light's catching this. There are very subtle painted in blue veins under there. The sculpting on the biceps and the triceps, very well done indeed. These are some very good seamless arms, some of the best I've seen in a long time, I've got to say. These movable gauntlets are the same as the ones on the fully covered arms. Just slightly less battle damage going on there, so I'm assuming you can interchange those by just popping off the hand and sliding the other ones up if you're wanting to use those. These are the other set of hands. Slightly more open palm these, and once again you have the facility to pop this section out here and pop in the claws if you're wanting to use these hands in the display. Let's check the articulation on these arms. Let's remove this other shoulder pad just so we can see what this articulation is like now. This is a ratchet joint this time round, Not sure what material they've used here, Hot Toys, on this one. I'm hoping that it's that silicone and not rubber, because we know rubber splits. Let's see how it stands up to being articulated. Pretty well, to be honest with you. I would be a little bit concerned about this gauntlet section maybe rubbing if you've got the arm too bent, but let's see how far this arm will go. I'm not going to push it too far as I don't want to damage it, but it looks like we'll go right the way up to about there. We are getting some creasing in there, but once you've got that pose locked in, I think you're not going to really see that. So yeah, the articulation at the elbow is very good. Hands are pegged in, obviously. Butterfly joint on that ball joint at the shoulder as well. So onto the head sculpt now. Let's take a look at this masked head sculpt. I've got to say, I am very, very impressed with this. We've waited a long, long time for this blue and yellow suited look, the original comic book version. It was great to see Hugh Jackman don this suit in the film, and it's great to see Hot Toys do a version of it. And I think they have absolutely nailed that head sculpt on with those removable face plates. Once again, it's weathered. You've got these huge sections that lift up off the faceplate that cover the eyes. If I could level a criticism here, though, the white section in those eyes is a little bit on the narrow side. I have heard other people comment on this, that they are a little bit narrow, and I revisited the film prior to shooting this review, and I've got to say, yeah, they were slightly larger, those white sections. But I think Hot Toys may have just taken some artistic license here, because he looks more menacing when they're slightly narrower. But overall, yeah, that head sculpt with the silver dry brushing on there to just pick out the details and the hints of battle damage, really, really nice indeed. And in usual Hot Toys fashion, if you're wanting to swap out that mouth plate, it's simply it's a pinch squeeze, and they will pop out and slide in. So yeah, that head sculpt looking very, very good indeed. So I think what we need to do is take a look at him in a slightly different garb. Okay, so we've swapped out the look. What have we done? We've swapped out the seamless arms for the suited arms. We swapped out the claws, so he's got his adamantine claws on the go. We've swapped out the chest plate for the battle damage version, and we put on that unmasked head sculpt as well. All of which were relatively simple, no issues in doing that, none that I encountered anyway. I suppose it's time for a verdict on this guy then. Where to begin? Let's start with the plus sides. Proportions, absolutely excellent, nailed on, completely nailed on. That suit, really, really well done. I think the colour is screen accurate. I love the weathering on this. I think the weathering is subtle, but just the right amount. I love the magnetic shoulder pads. I think overall it is a phenomenal piece and could very, very well be on for Figure of the Year here. If not overall Figure of the Year, most certainly a contender for Hot Toys Figure of the Year. The head sculpt is leaps and bounds ahead of the Days of Future Past head sculpt. I think it's a great head sculpt. The skin tones and textures on these seamless arms, I think, is amazing, as they are on the head sculpt as well. Well, I'll get to gripes in a second, and there are a few minor niggles here. Well, let's talk about them now. Why not? Gripes. I'm still not 100% convinced that this suit's going to stand the test of time. I've had this kind of material before, and I've had it deteriorate quite quickly. So, as I say, time will tell on that suit. I would like to maybe see them venture into something a little bit more hard-wearing, but as I say, the clock is ticking on that one. Where it creases, where it may get damaged is down to old Father Time himself, that one. Other minor niggles, I would have liked to have seen a split cut boot design on this one. It's a dynamically posable figure within the limitations of the suit, and having this guy in a museum or vanilla pose is not really an option in the display, unless of course you're wanting to save him for posterity. How those boots stand up to being not split cut and being sort of that soft plastic, how they stand the test of time as well is going to be interesting. So I think a trick missed there, but the weathering, the suit colours, the proportions, I think as a representation of Hugh Jackman in 1/6 scale, I don't think we've seen a better figure. That's just my opinion though. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Also amongst the niggles as well, these seamless arms, as good as they are, and I do love them, for some reason the seam itself where this material joins has been left down the front. Now I'm not sure in this lighting, I'll try and get this as close in as possible. It's not a deal breaker, but there is a barely visible seam line running down the front of the arm. Now why Hot Toys didn't put that seam line down here doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's not it's not a deal breaker, as I said, and unless you're looking for it, you're not really going to spot it. But yeah, it would have been so much easier just to put it down there, and then it would never have been an issue anyway. And also the rubbing of these gauntlets, these they're not hard plastic, they are a sort of medium plastic, but how these stand up, stand the test of time on these arms, and if they damage them is yet to be seen as well. And just some of the yellow paint applications, I don't know whether it's my imagination, you tell me, but just a little bit inaccurate in some areas. Not on the suit, but most certainly it's visible a little bit, as you can see there. I'll try and give you an example of this. If you see into the crevice there, and I'm nitpicking here, but the paint applications of that yellow paint aren't 100%, but yeah, that's just an old man's OCD. But overall, I think what Hot Toys have given us here is a phenomenal piece, a truly spectacular 1/6 scale representation of Wolverine. So I suppose it's score time for this guy. This is going to be a difficult one. It really is. I so wanted to give this a 10. But there's just a few minor niggles in there. It's that material yet again. In the suit there, it's the lack of split cut boot design, it's that minor issue of the seams on the arms. Probably one of the biggest things as well is the lack of diorama base at this price point. I think especially with the deluxe version, as I mentioned at the top there, I think Hot Toys should have included a diorama base, not dissimilar to the one that they included with the Dead Pool figure from Dead Pool and Wolverine. Also, as well, if they'd given us that diorama base, they could have given us a flight pole as well, which means you can go for those really, really dynamic jumping, leaping, and generally Wolverining about looks in your display. But overall, yeah, taking all those things into consideration, I'm gonna give this a 9.5, 0.5 off for those little minor niggles. But what we do have here is a truly spectacular Wolverine from Hot Toys, and Hot Toys flexing and doing what they do best. So what's your take on this piece? Have you got it on pre-order? Has it already arrived? Is it an easy pass for you? Please drop a comment in the comment section below. I will be fascinated to hear your take on this particular piece. We will be seeing all the swap out looks in the showcase at the end. Forgot to mention here the mask section itself is dead simple to swap out those mouth plates. They are magnetically attached, and they simply come off and fall off like that if you're wanting to swap them out. I can't figure out which one I like the best. I'm sort of erring towards this open mouth version, and it's great to see that they've actually put a magnet up the top there. So yeah. Previous swap out mouth plates in other figures have been a bit of a ball ache to get this faceplate out, and the inclusion of that magnet means it's just simply a case of pull out like that. So there's no pinching and tweaking and trying to stuff a fingernail into a tiny little gap. They'll simply slot out and slot back in again. So yeah, a 9.5 for Hot Toys' take on Wolverine, but I'd like to hear your opinion, so please drop a comment in the comment section below. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, we've got a raft more 1/6 scale figure reviews. We've got stuff from Hot Toys, from InArt, from Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, Iconic Studios, X06, the list goes on. We have tour videos and showcases and retro reviews. So there's a boatload of stuff on the horizon. So I mentioned at the top there, be sure to mash that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. As always, I hope this review's been useful for you. And as always, take care of yourselves, and until next time on the channel, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.